What's up, guys? This is my Avengers diorama. In this video, I'm going to explain how I did it step by step so that you guys can do it yourselves if you want to. It's very easy, very cheap, very effective, and it was also super fun to make. I was inspired by videos from Scott Barrington and Roven Customs. You can check out their videos. I'll link them in the description. They have some amazing diorama stuff going on over there, but I've never made one before. I'm not a professional by any means. This is my first diorama, but it turned out really, really cool. So I'm just going to explain how you guys can do it step by step. Costs only about $40 to do. All right, so the first step for me was to get a backdrop, and I went to Office Depot and had this high resolution still from the Endgame final battle printed on a material called scrim. Scrim is not paper, it's tear resistant, it's more like a banner. It's going to last you a long time. It cost me $25, which in comparison to some other third-party options is fairly cheap. And then to make the base, I just went to Home Depot and I grabbed some styrofoam project board. This stuff is huge for the purposes I need. I used less than half of it. So you can make up to maybe 3 diorama bases with this. Probably only 2, depending on, at my size, I used about half of it. But it's very durable, and it's very sturdy, and it doesn't leave any of those pesky beads anywhere, and it costs only $6. So once I cut it down to the proper size, I had to do some trial and error to get it to fit right. Had to round out the corners on the back and the surface that you see at the very front, which ends up being kind of a rocky looking surface. That's just how it looked when I snapped it in half after cutting it. And so this styrofoam it doesn't require any sanding or anything like that to get it to the proper shape. Next, I grabbed some gravel from the road and got these big chunks of this really rough rock, and I just put my weight into it and just rolled it around to give it that texture. I also cut a big gash into the foam with a box cutter. Then once it was fully texturized and it was looking how I wanted it to, I used some Model Masters flat gray, and then I added a black wash with some matte black watered down to get in all the cracks and the crevices. And then I went over it again with light gray to bring out the highlights. Next, I went over it with Mod Podge over the entire surface, and I covered the entire surface with this model sand because that was my original plan. But when it was done, I didn't really like how it looked, so I scraped it off, and it left all of these little pieces of sand there. And even this, I didn't really like how it looked. The Mod Podge made it look kind of shiny, and then all of these bits of sand looked white, and they were supposed to be brown. So I ended up repainting it, going over it again with gray and black, and painting in all of the areas where the sand had gotten in there and didn't look quite right. Then I added some scenery, and I added a coat of dull coat so that the reflective sheen from the Mod Podge was taken away, and then it ended up looking satisfactory. And once it was completely done, all that was left to do was place the figures where I wanted them. And here you have it. This is the finished product as we saw at the beginning of the video. And it's really taken my display to the next level. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. It was also really fun to do, really cheap and really easy. So if you're interested at all in action figure collecting or posing or whatever, this is something that I definitely recommend. Costs about $40 to do, depending on what you already have, but so worth it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.